Welcome back.
Sock it to me.
Stockwell Eldridge Show and Jason Stockwell Remax Results.
Yeah.
Don Eldridge Remax Results.
We have Stephanie Havel.
From Wells Fargo Home Mortgage.
Yes.
Good morning. Thanks. Glad to be here.
And Nate Nelson with Mesley and Kramer.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Nate. If you missed the first or second or third segments, we've been talking.
We have been all over the board today.
We've been all over the
what
place.
We're talking about.
Just justice appointments.
Tax laws,
tax
Scientology,
laws,
the Big Short.
Yeah, we've been talking about in the market, overall market.
So I said Nate's got a lot of notes scratched out over here.
If there's anything you want to catch up on, you can go to the Patriot and check it out, or go to our Facebook page, Stockwell Eldridge Show, or to our YouTube channel, or you can call us anytime, 651-400-0773. And I wanted to just share quickly a quote from someone who's much wiser than me. Most people are. But it goes something like this. I don't even have the exact quote, but here's the general premise. A good deed publicized or used for publicity purposes becomes simply a deed. So what I would, and this to go back to the first segment, if you missed the first segment, is imagine a world where, and I'm getting on my Facebook tangent again or whatever, Instagram, but imagine a world where you couldn't post, right?
I remember that world.
Yes,
actually.
I do too.
Yeah.
Right? So where you couldn't post yourself doing anything, right? So the question I have for people out there is, would you still do what you just did or do what you're going to do if you couldn't post it? So in other words, what's the purpose? What's the actual reason you're doing something? Are you doing it just for the posting, or is that a 90% reason why you're doing it? Or are you actually doing it because you would do it either way if you could post it or not? I'm guilty of this in real estate. Salespeople, it's tough because we have to promote, but we want to show we're doing good, and companies want to show they're doing good. So it's tougher, but it's still the same principle would apply, I would say, is if you should still do it, even if it means you couldn't post it or use it as PR and things like that. So, and politicians especially, kissing babies. And I point to the lawyer over there, but he's basically a politician. No, I'm just kidding.
For the right amount of money, and we'll kiss.
It reminds me of this quote I just saw too here. It says, when God blesses you financially, don't raise your standard of living, raise your standard of giving. And
yes, that's a good point too. And a lot of people are giving to their causes now, which is great on all around the world. So, and all around the U.S. So I think maybe this turmoil that the society is feeling, and angst and dividedness, can help by people getting down and giving and doing things good for other people. So I think that's good. But anyway, if you think about that, if you're about the posting, especially, I think of my kids as they're growing older now, and they don't have phones yet, thank God. And I don't want them to ever have phones, but whenever they do, it's like you said, in an employment world, even watch what you're posting, because it can.
Well, and I think, a lot of good things, like sometimes that's what sometimes is frustrating. People talk about the negatives of social media. And for me, most people that know me, I've got my 5,000 friends, and I love it because
bragging.
I can see,
just kidding.
Woo-hoo.
By the way, that's a maximum. You cannot exceed.
Yeah, otherwise I have to be.
Otherwise
I have to go into a celebrity status, which I'm not ready to go to yet. But
you're not ready yet.
I love seeing when it's back to school. My friends' kids going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
I love to be my aunts and uncles and my cousins that I don't get to see very often. And I thought it was really sweet, Jason. I'm going to give you a little props. Your wife Katie posted something that Jason really is a humble person. So you could have gone to the RE/MAX Awards. Jason got nominated or won for being a top realtor at RE/MAX, and instead you went where?
To the bar? No, I'm just kidding. No, we had my daughter had a donuts with daddy thing for a couple hours at her preschool, and they do it once a year, and she's only in this preschool for 1 year, so she was excited.
So you had to make a choice between donuts and with your daughter, or getting an award and
probably a great meal,
bragging in front
probably
of everybody.
A wonderful meal, some drinks, who knows? I don't know, what else?
There were no drinks.
No drinks.
It was a good meal.
But bragging in front of everybody that you're the top realtor with RE/MAX and showing off all the great things you did, and you chose to go with your.
Yeah, we're up there. We're doing good, and we're happy.
But you watch a lot of those award shows, and the biggest stars don't always show up too.
Right.
It could have been almost an inverse ego play.
Yes.
Wait a minute. What was that again? Inverse
ego play. Look at Nate. You're educating everybody
ego
here.
play.
At least in studio. I don't know outside of studio. But Nate, what else is in the going on as far as legal stuff? Where all, I mean, in real estate, obviously you can help people, but can you help people with all kinds of other issues in their life?
We're seeing an awful lot of mergers and acquisitions still going on. We're seeing a lot of succession of family-owned or closely held businesses being transferred right now. I think much like in the real estate market, the business climate is experiencing the same
boom,
or the same renaissance in the sense that banks are willing to lend, rates are still affordable, and there's inventory or opportunity out there. And so I think there's still a sense of let's do it while we can, and it's not going to last forever because, as you kept bringing up, the end of 7, 8, 9, and 10 were very sombering times that people still remember.
Yeah. So is it good times then for, with all of the changes going on in the administration for small businesses? I mean, I think, we hear, kind of talking about the trickle down. Is it getting the corporations bigger and bigger, or do we want small business America to grow? Is it easy for them to?
That's a great question. I think one of the short answer is right now the opportunity is there as long as something is finance dependent because banks are lending, if you will. To the extent banks don't lend, there's been a huge upsurgent in private equity PE guys and gals that come in, and they're helping what we'll call, they're still large businesses, but what we can still call smaller businesses. So that's going on right now. As far as long range personal planning, you buy a home, people think, well, what about a will, or what about passing something down a generation or two? I think right now people are looking for, don't do anything irrevocable right now. Stay flexible and see what Trump is going to bring.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that reminds me of a thing on Facebook I saw. It was a guy running towards money, a bunch of money floating in the air, and he's running, and it says, how you start your career, right, when you're young. And then it shows a middle-aged man, gray hair, running still at money, but has a bunch of it in his pocket, right? And then it shows a guy who's stopped, right, completely stopped, tons of money in a pile, and he's basically dying or dead. So it's kind of like, okay, you spend your whole life chasing this, you get it, and then you die. Right. I mean, and so it's like, but anyway, not to divulge off too much, but point of that is people are also make sure you get to do something that is enjoyable, right? And passing it on, that reminded me of passing it on earlier on maybe than waiting until you have no choice and you can't decide what to do with your assets.
You noted there was only one preschool year that your daughter would be able to do the donut. Well, we only get one spin around this merry-go-round too. Yeah,
that's and it's so quick when you think about it. I was thinking about it today. It's got goosebumps. 100 years. That's a long time in life. But when you look at the whole world and stuff and the time, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, we're very, very limited time, and it goes fast every year. I told the kids last night. I said, January's already done. The first year of this year the first month of this year is already over. Boom. There's 11 left, and they're going to be just as fast as that one. I mean,
we're sharing quotes. One of the most depressing quotes to me is depressing, but it's probably very profound. Is the river only flows one direction? So January is gone. We're in February.
So
now.
Spend the time with the family and loved ones that you can. Don't let politics and Facebook and divisiveness and stuff drive your family apart or your marriage apart or your.
Find the opportunity. Find the good posts on Facebook, the positive stories, the feel-good stories, and don't read all the other garbage.
Yeah, because I couldn't agree more with that. So, Stephanie Havel, thanks so much.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about that renovation financing, give me a call at 612-940-7335, and I'll get you connected with a renovation specialist.
Awesome. And Nate Nelson, Mesley and Kramer.
Thank you, everyone. A great time to be here today.
Yes, and I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge, Remax Results.
And we'll be back next week. Have a great week, and we'll be back next week, and we should all say it together.
Yes.
Remember,
love yourself and love others. Woohoo! Group hug.
Yeah.
Our house, it has a crowd. There's always something happening, and it's usually quite loud. Our mum, she